So let's move on to another topic here.
Fellas, I'm gonna have to step out because I gotta go do something. But I'll stick around for the next 20 minutes. So
Okay. Um, the next topic I wanted to discuss was the controversy over the Studio Ghibli AI fiasco.
you talking about everybody doing? You sent me something and I didn't see it. You
Yeah.
know,
Go ahead.
if
Go
this
ahead.
is what we're talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and just give my thoughts. And y'all can run with it. You wanna know why I hate this? Because one, Studio Ghibli is such a renowned studio, and rather than matter of fact, I can tell you, oh no, top right picture. They can sit there and copy Studio Ghibli, but they won't do the full Olympics. Won't do this full Olympic thing. That's bullshit. That's straight bullshit. Come on, man. Like,
Well,
hey, because
I think there's a couple of things. One is showing you um, how good the AI is getting at mimicking styles, but I also think it shows you the depth of depravity of the people who are creating the algorithms and the machine learning. Because I mean, they took copyrighted material, which is Studio Ghibli films, and they use that as training data. And I think Ghibli should sue them. I think they should sue
uh,
OpenAI.
I think Mizaki is too old right now, so it would take like
That's not true because recently that studio has been sending out cease and desist letters to certain people.
well, if the studio's doing that's one thing, but Hayao Miyazaki,
I mean,
um,
yeah, the studio can sue people. You didn't have to assume the studio can.
I mean, I said the studio. I literally
Yeah.
said the studio. I didn't say Miyazaki.
I mean, it definitely looks like the Ghibli studio art style. I can tell you that. Like,
Yeah.
it definitely looks like that art style.
I mean, yeah. I mean, this was
Like,
you
people
could
can't act
tell.
like it doesn't-
We know that they trained it on Studio Ghibli's
Yeah.
copyrighted material.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's better what I could do, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, say I was getting so good, I'm like, bro.
I think
As
they
far
should
as
sue.
competing with it, like, as a low tier artist, like, how am I supposed to compete with that? I literally would be able to. If it's
Yeah,
image to image, I can't compete with that, bro.
I think they should
There's
sue.
no way to compete with that as a low tier artist.
I think they should sue. I think that a lot of other big companies should start suing them, and really make them pay. Really make them pay. Because it was years ago when Miyazaki said he thought that this type of technology was an insult to life itself, and I agree with him. I think there's a place for this type of technology, and we talked a little bit about it last podcast. If you're training the data on your own property, then I think that's all fair. I think that's fair. But when you're using someone else's material, then I think that crosses the line without pay or without any kind of compensation or permission. I think that crosses the line. And now these AI companies pretty much bought the government, and they're trying to make laws that exempt them from any kind of copyright claims, which is utter bullshit. And I think regular people need to fight against that. It shouldn't, because corporations already get away with that type of thing. They can get away with certain laws, or they can get away with certain behaviors, whereas the regular folk can't. And we need to fight against that. So no, I'm against this. I know people are having fun with it or whatever, but I'm totally against this. Totally against this.
anything, I'm against anything that lower mortals can't do.
You're right about that.
Like we as artists, that is basically when you can just say, "Hey, I did this on an algorithm," versus putting time. Like the same argument we've had about every AI. conversation. If you're not putting love into it, it's not worth doing it. And with that,
I mean, according to the algorithm, that's not always true. The algorithms are going to take what's the most popular. It doesn't care if it's love or not. The algorithm is going to be like, will this do well? Is this trendy? Does this look good? And I'm like, it's going to send it out to people. If it's trash, then it doesn't follow the trends, or does something it doesn't want, the algorithm's not going to care. It's not an algorithm thing when it comes to that. No, that's why AI is so successful, because AI, you can just pump out infinitely to the algorithm, and it's like, you're pumping out so much content, you must be a good creator. That's what the algorithm thinks. The algorithm machine too, just like this AI.
That's why some people have.
That's why this AI thing is so crazy. That's why it's overtaking artists. That's why it's taking artists' jobs.
That's why everyone keeps saying that. Where jobs has it taken?
As far as like people who do commissions, there's people who will be like, oh, I can draw you this piece.
That's not a job. That's not a job though. That's a commission. That's not like a job.
I mean, some people have jobs off of commissions. Some people live off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see maybe doing like splash art or whatever. I still have yet to see, like everyone's saying it's going to take over this. Like, where is the AI movie at? Or the AI animation? The one that we have, what was that company called? The special effects guys. What are they called? They have a YouTube channel. What are they called, man? Corridor? Is it Corridor? You know what I'm talking about, Carpenter?
Yeah.
Remember that anime AI thing they did? It was shit. It looked like shit.
It was okay.
No, it looked like shit.
It was like okay. It was like, bro, it was not. I was
like
telling
shit.
you, it's just okay. Like it's garbage. Not, bro.
Like straight garbage. And look, now I think the AI has gotten better since they released that. So I think you can have a little bit more consistency now. But it goes back to what I was saying before. AI is not acting. It's not an actor. So unless you're using it as some kind of like filter, which they did. Here, let's pull this up. This is where I see the tool being mostly used for. Let's pull this up because this, I think, kind of illustrates my point. We'll watch this.
Fellas, I'm going to step out. Same time next week.
All right. Let me turn my music off here for a second.
But same time next week.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and everybody look out for our next movie review. It's gonna be on Sinners.
Dang, why is this thing sharing? Oh, I got on the wrong tab. Let's see. There we go. But there's a show called The House of David, and they used AI inside the making of the show for a particular scene that I think involved like an angel. So what they did was I guess they had an actor kind of act out the part on maybe like a green screen or something like that. And then they used the AI almost like a filter to turn the actor into the angel. So they blended that with some real live action effects with some visual effects. And it doesn't look bad. Like it looks kind of like AI, but it looks decent enough, I think, especially for the budget of the show that they have. But that's where I see more of like, okay, you're using it as a visual effect, almost like a filter, rather than you're going to see a whole.
That would still take a job.
AI. Well, I don't know. Will it take a job? Because the way this guy explained it, it was like, they would not have been able to do this if they did not have the AI technology. So this scene would have never even happened because they couldn't afford it. So the visual effects people who they did have on staff were able to use the tools in like a smaller man crew for a lower budget type of venture. But let's watch it. See what happens.
I'm creator and co-showrunner of House of David. It is our company, The Wonder Project's first production in collaboration with Amazon and Prime Video. It's on Prime Video right now. To our knowledge, we are the first or among the first to use generative AI tools to create some of the scope and scale that would have been otherwise impossible. All the footage that you're seeing right now was made using an AI tool set combined with traditional tools. Specifically, episode 6 represents the first scene in a show that's driven by generative AI tools. Now, many other traditional tools were used in the process. Real actors were used to perform the scene, but this represents a leap forward in technology in what we were able to achieve. These tools are more human and more creative and more collaborative than any other tools that I've ever used in a VFX process. I say that as a showrunner, I say that as an AI artist, and I say that as a former animator. Why am I telling you this? I think much of the fear and discussion around these tools are into, will these tools take jobs?
If you want to think it's just be used by artists, that'd be one thing, but that's not the truth.
You can't talk while the video. Well, shoot, the video was barely playing.
We have found by using them and taking the time to deeply understand them that actually the complete opposite is true. They allow me to be more creative as the showrunner. They allow actors to have more agency into their digital performance. And they allow the core department heads on the show to be able to collaborate on the visual effects because we're actually making the visual effects while we film the show. Of the 850 VFX shots in season 1 of House of David, 73 shots were created using these tools as an engine to the car. These are a new set of paintbrushes that, when placed into the hands of artists, especially when they're together and collaborate, allow you to do things that were formerly impossible. The integration of these tools are going to create jobs in our industry. That's what I feel. The reason is, a show like House of David, many people told us that our vision was impossible. What we say at Wonder is we do not compromise, we innovate. If we had listened to the status quo of our industry, House of David never gets made. By making it a budget many people thought was impossible, we're able to employ nearly 700 people. House of David represents a show that could not have been made without innovation. Technology and leaps forward in technology are essential to the journey of cinema. So I want to thank Amazon and Prime Video
All right, that's enough.
for allowing us to innovate.
But doesn't every art director complain their budget's not big enough? They always want to go above expectations. I mean, we always see innovations in technology no matter what. I mean, like I said, the AI still, if it's being used by artists, that's one thing. But what has happened is just random people are using it and literally just trying to get jobs off of just an AI, still in the work off of other artists. Like, there are people who legitimately will just say, "Oh, I can do this art for you," and just use AI doing it for them. And the customer, they don't know, and they'll be like, "I have this artwork made for me," and people are like, "Yo, that's AI." And it's like, I didn't want my artwork to be AI, you know.
I don't really know exactly what you're saying, but I think the point that I made last show that as far as this being integrated into the pipeline of making films or animations, I see it more as like advanced filters. Again, I don't think the AI can act. I mean, it can do small things here and there, but like, think about it. You're doing a 2-hour-long movie, and all the subtleties that goes along with that, particularly the main character who's probably going to be in most of the scenes, right? I just don't see the AI doing that. Not in a convincing way. Like, again, like if it's like some kind of avant-garde, experimental type thing, but who's going to watch that? There's not going to be like some big budget thing or whatever. Now, again, using this as tools, like as like advanced filters, for sure. I mean, we already see it happening. This guy's doing it right here, and the results weren't bad. Like, you could still kind of tell it's AI, but they weren't bad. You know what I'm saying? And it was only for like one scene that looked like it may have been only like 40 seconds long. Everyone says this thing's going to get better. I'm not sure about that. I just don't see. I don't see that. Not in the way that people are saying anyway. But for example, I already use advanced filters in Photoshop. If you go to Photoshop and you open it up and you go to the filter section, there's a thing called neural filters where you can do all kind of things. You can what used to take you forever. Like, if you took a person from one photo and you put them in another photo with a different background, different lighting. Well, they got a neural filter that will match the lighting of the background to the person that you put into that photo. Whereas before, you could do that before with a whole bunch of Photoshop techniques, it would take you hours. Well, the neural filters, it automatically does it for you. So that's where I see this really coming in more into play, is like advanced filters when it comes to like visual effects and movie making and stuff like that. But this idea that it's going to just take all the jobs and you're just going to have all movies going to be made with AI. I don't.
It's not going to be completely, but it's going to be a lot less jobs. That's the main.
Well, the way he described it was, or it seemed
as of right now. But what happens is, the reason, like we use some of the Photoshop thing, right? when things take longer, they need to be more people to do something like that, right? As just happened throughout the animation field, as you know, things get quicker. Some people are gonna lose their job because now you're doing the same job with 2 people to do because you can do it way quicker. Think about it. That's how companies see it.
No, I agree with
hire
that.
less people.
Yeah,
I'm going to hire less people.
You probably will hire less people. I do agree with that. But I mean, let's be honest, a lot of it is bloated anyway.
Yeah, you definitely are. Yeah, the art industry is pretty bloated. Yeah,
just in general, like the entertainment industry. I remember I was watching the behind the scenes for I think it was The Last Jedi, and it was just like it seemed like a lot of those people didn't need to be there.
I mean, but it's a field that a lot of people want to be in. And I mean, I understand why. It's one of the better jobs you can have. If you had to choose any job, being in the entertainment field be one of the better places you can choose, bro. It definitely beats being at McDonald's or some trash like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the entertainment industry is actually an enjoyable job in comparison to most industries are enjoyable. So I understand why it's bloated and why people don't want to take AI, because they'd rather there be more jobs than less.
Lucent Oak Studio.